If you like weather, if you like science, if you like weather forecast videos that aren't just kind of the usual stuff that you can watch on TV or other places, well, this is the video for you. We do them every day. It's called Weather for Weather Geeks, and on this Monday evening, we've got a lot to talk about this week. Not much rain coming our way in the next several days, but a few chances for wet weather, and the largest county fair in the state of Ohio is in our viewing area, of course. It's the Canfield Fair, which starts on Wednesday. But the main story for the time being is how cool it is and will be for much of the next several days. Our high today is 69 degrees at the airport, easily the coolest day in recent memory. In fact, we have to go back to early June to find a day this cool. It was the 8th day of June. 64 the high that day. That's the last time we had a high temperature for any calendar day that was in the 60s officially at the Youngstown Warren Airport. So it's been over 2 months now, well over 2 months in fact, since we had a day like today. And I think tomorrow will be very, very similar, with afternoon temperatures struggling to hit 70 degrees. A little after 7 p.m., some of these showers that have been pushing through, still pushing through parts of Columbiana County, Lisbon, West Point, heading down towards Glenmore, Calcutta, parts of the East Liverpool area, Salineville, Highlandtown. Places getting a little bit of light rain, and where it's been raining at times today, it's really, really felt like autumn. The temperature at the airport with a shower that moved through early this afternoon dropped to like 59 for a time before rebounding back up into the middle and upper 60s. So that was kind of the routine today. It was cool when it wasn't raining, but when it did rain over any one location, it really, did not feel like it was still technically August and meteorological summer. We're losing the daylight, of course, so our visible satellite picture is starting to fade away early this evening, but we had those dark bottoms to a lot of those clouds today. The atmosphere pretty unstable today, a lot of cold air aloft, and because this was a little more of a late September or even October kind of weather setup today, we had kind of a early fall setup in terms of waterspout potential. Waterspouts not typically something we see a lot of, I should say, during the summer season, but when you have air this cool aloft, it can generate enough instability to create a few waterspouts, and we had those at times over Lake Erie and other parts of the Great Lakes earlier on today. So again, it's pretty much a rerun on Tuesday. It's certainly not a washout, but there'll be a shower here and there. When it rains over any one location, the temperature will drop a handful of degrees, and our expectations for tomorrow temperature-wise are only upper 60s to around 70 degrees. We've got a trough of low pressure that will pivot through the lakes, and this will create enough instability once again that especially in the afternoon there can be some passing showers with a small chance for thunder. This trough then heads off to the east Wednesday, and Wednesday looks like a great day. It'll be cool in the morning. Anyone heading to the fairgrounds for the opening morning of the Canfield Fair, perhaps setting up some exhibits and other things, you'll need a jacket probably, 40s and 50s, but we're heading for the 70s in the afternoon. We really have one legitimate rain chance during the entirety of the fair, and that's going to be late in the day Thursday and into Thursday night. Cold front heads our way. Now, this front was not well advertised by some of the weather modeling last week, but over the weekend the weather modeling started to hone in on this idea that we would get another frontal passage probably late Thursday and especially Thursday night. Clouds will probably increase Thursday. Could be a couple of showers around before the day is through. Maybe a better chance towards sundown Thursday evening. By the way, YSU opens the season at home at the Ice Castle Thursday evening and might need the wet weather gear for that game with a couple of showers a possibility. At the fairgrounds on Thursday, we look to stay dry for the most part until we get into the evening and especially, again, past sunset. So, I show this graphic every year, and some years, all these roosters are way over here in the medium and high category as far as weather impacts, but every day this year, the weather will be pretty low impact. Again, if we get wet, it's going to be late Thursday, and then Friday, through the weekend, through Monday, all looking great. The two warmest days of the fair this year are going to be Sunday and Monday, but they're not going to be hot, and it's not going to be humid. We're not going to see 90 this year. The warmest temperature we might see is 80 or so on Labor Day on Monday. We'll get into the mid-70s on Sunday, but our high temperature expectations for Friday, in the wake of that front, we've lowered them. So that may be a day kind of like yesterday, or today I should say, and tomorrow, where we failed to get out of the 60s. So a little bit of a chill in the air for high school football this week on Friday evening. But all things considered, this is one of the better Canfield Fair forecasts we've had in recent years. But of course, yards are brown and crispy in much of the area. We've been talking about the lack of rain in many of our videos of late, and this forecast through early next week, not going to see much. A couple of showers around on Tuesday and a couple of showers around late Thursday night, but those rainfall totals are not going to be very, very high. And, it's windows open season a little bit early here. These overnight lows, of course, are below the average, and with this kind of a dry air mass in place, and the nights getting a little bit longer, you can see temperatures bottoming out pretty nicely at this time of the year. We're looking for Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, Wednesday night, all the way through the weekend, in fact. Overnight lows to try to dip into the 40s to lower 50s. The dew points will just come up a little bit over the weekend, but the humidity to me seems like a non-factor. Now, the question is summer over? And I think the answer to that is no. Now, I'm becoming more and more convinced that we're unlikely to see 90 in September. But I can see we're past Labor Day from the 2nd through maybe the 7th or 8th or so. That's a pretty warm period. I could see where we routinely have highs in the 80s. So I'm starting to get some questions about, hey, should I close my pool this week? Yeah, it just depends on your threshold for closing the pool and your tolerance for certain temperatures. But again, I don't think we see 90 or so anytime real soon, and maybe not for the rest of the season. But I could see where deep into the second week of September, we see some high temperatures trying to get into the lower and middle 80s. And today's 8 to 14 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, you don't see deep reds on this, but it does show this period, this second week of, or late in the first week into the second week of September, I should say, past Labor Day, in other words, some odds of above average temperatures from roughly our area north and east. I don't think it's a blowtorch pattern. I don't think we're going to see 90. But I think highs between 80 and 85 will be fairly routine for at least a handful of days just past Labor Day. So, the answer to the question, is summer over? I don't think it is. But will we see a return of some of the, really high heat and high humidity that we've had at times this summer? I'm becoming convinced that we're not going to see something like that in September. September can still end up as a warmer than average month, but a month that features a lot of really truly hot days, I'm pretty skeptical of that, more and more so as we head towards this final week of August. In the meantime, thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks on this Monday evening. On Tuesday, we'll have an update on those late week rain chances and an update on the fair forecast and much, much more, so I hope you'll join us once again on Tuesday.